Hello, today we are talking about the Dave Ramsey show that has the internet all ablaze. And let me tell you guys, I have not heard one person comment on what I'm going to say about this. Not one. And we have read through a lot of the comments, so it may be in there because we did not get through all of the comments, but we are commenting today on the Dave Ramsey show where George said to the 86-year-old lady she needed to just go get a job because she had $30,000 in credit card debt. And so here's the situation. Now, I can't play the video because the Ramsey show doesn't allow people to use video even for, review purposes. They claim copyright on that, which is fine. We don't allow people either. So here's the situation though. 86-year-old woman, single, Jacksonville, Florida. Her house is paid for. Her car is paid for. She has leukemia for 20 years. She is $30,000 in debt, has $200 a month left over for gas and food after she pays her bills with her $1,200 a month Social Security. Her daughter and her ex-husband will buy food for her if she asks, but she doesn't want to ask because it's too embarrassing. Her house. Let me get to this first. So she was calling into the show saying, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I have $30,000 in credit card debt and I'm just totally stuck. And they were like, okay, well, they said, well, how much is your house worth? She said, well, maybe $250,000. They said, oh, okay. She said, well, all the houses around me are worth $600,000. And
I was going to say we should mention that this story actually has relevance for you.
Yes.
Not just for
the 86-year-old woman.
What Dave Ramsey said.
We're coming at this from two different angles.
Yeah, it has definite relevance for you to learn from this lady's situation.
So she has a house that she thinks is worth 200 to 250 in a neighborhood with houses that are 600,000. She said that she can't go live with her daughter because of personality issues. She said that she's $200 over every month, so she's using her credit cards to pay for that $200. Now, here's what's interesting. And I didn't see this mentioned. I didn't see my two main points mentioned anywhere that I'm going to make for this. First of all, when they were asking her, well, could you move in with your daughter? No, we have personality issues. Okay, well, how much is your car worth? It's this type of a car. Okay, that's probably not going to even make a dent. Okay. She said, well, yeah, and then I won't be able to drive. And so then George was like, well, you may just have to earn some money. And I don't fault George for saying that at all, because we do the live shows also. And when you're getting the comments and questions and you're trying to address them live, usually after you've been on air for an hour or two and your brain is kind of getting started worn down, you have a hard time trying to really think outside the box for situations like this. And so as he was talking to this lady, though, she said, well, I could ask my daughter or my ex-husband for some money, but it's too embarrassing and I don't like doing that. Well, here's the thing. This woman, as they were going along and talking, he said, okay, well, can you do this? No, can you do that? She said, well, I was a single mom at 19. The woman is 86 years old. Where the heck did 40 years? She said she worked until she was 80. Where did 40 years worth of income go?
Because
no one mentioned this.
Tara's saying 40 years because if you're a single mom at 19, then by 21, your kid is probably
out on their own.
Yeah.
She had 40 working years.
As a single person.
As a single person to get her act together. And all she could do at 86 years old was say, well, I couldn't do anything because I was a single mom at 19. Are you kidding me? It had been almost 60 years since that point, and you couldn't have gotten your act together in 60 years? So, first of all, that tells me that she does not feel responsible at all for any of her problems. She took no responsibility for any of her problems at all.
And just because I can hear the comments getting ready to come, Tara's not saying this to scold this lady or call her out or whatever. Tara's saying, step back from this and think in terms of how it works for you and for other people. Like what opportunities did this lady miss along the way to end up where she is? And how can you not do those same things? And
she was working, she said, until she was 80 years old.
Yeah. And Leona said she also has leukemia, which is true. However, she didn't get the leukemia till
she said she's had it 20 years.
Yeah. So she would have been like 66
now,
or something.
If she would have said, the leukemia sucked my bank account dry or something like that, I could totally understand. But she did not say that. What she said was, I was a single mom at 19. What was I supposed to do? She's just making excuses. Now, before I keep going on some of this, I wanted to read some of the comments on the show because it's very interesting seeing what some of these people are saying. You're like, seriously, people. So,
well, and you know what? I feel bad for the lady to be in that situation, but he wasn't entirely incorrect in that the situation is the result of a series of actions that she's taken in her life. But I feel bad for her because I understand at 86, you're not going to really be able to go out and get a job, probably. And there's a lot of stuff. But at the same time, there were a lot of opportunity. There were a lot of suggestions they tried to bring to her, but she was quick to shoot those down.
Okay, so let's read some of these comments.
So that tells me that I'm sad for her situation, but you still haven't learned to not deflect. I mean, at that age, why don't you just say, I kind of made some mistakes. I'm in a bad situation. What should I do now?
Instead
of deflecting from the past.
Yeah. Okay. So here, let's look at some of these comments that people said. Of course, George, the woman's 86 years old. No one's going to hire her. Well, of course not. So here's what he said. Well, you could rent out a room. Now, this is where I want to get to my point. Somebody says her best option is to rent out rooms. Absolutely. Rent out rooms. Then this other person, thankfully, said if she rents out rooms, then she might find herself with squatters who mooch off of her and refuse to pay rent. Yes, she should not be renting out rooms at all. At all. And then another person says she's 86 years old with cancer, get a job. What the cuss word? And all these people are going on and on about how you can deliver pizza for $5,000 to $10,000 a month and all that. Okay, I get that. All right, so then the next thing, she said, well, my dog was $181 this month for her dog expenses. Okay, so this tells me right here, this woman does have room to cut in her budget. She doesn't want to. The dog needs to go, period. I'm sorry. If you are living on $1,200 a month, spending $180, almost $200 a month on an animal, you cannot afford it, period. You can't. You need to find a new home for that dog, and it's going to be very sad, and I'm really sorry. But this is the hole that you have put yourself in. And so these are the consequences of your actions.
Well, it's not like you have to kill your dog. Like the guy, he did suggest at the end, he just kind of was throwing things out in the closing credits and said something about you might have to rehome your dog. Well, he didn't mean anything bad by that. And The truth
But
is,
if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
if 17% of your income is dog expenses, you can't afford that.
Yeah.
Well, 17% of your $1,200 income is dog expenses. You
Yeah.
just can't afford that.
Okay, so now here's where everybody is completely, Dave Ramsey, George, everyone in the comments completely missed this point. And I'm shocked that Dave Ramsey even missed it, but he did. So she said that her house was worth $200,000 to $250,000. Her house was the first one in the neighborhood 20 years ago, and that all the houses around her are $600,000 or up. Okay, she's 86 years old. I totally understand. She probably doesn't understand real estate, but I can guarantee you, if her house is only 20 years old, unless it's some sort of hoarder house just completely falling down, it may be, I don't know. But no, Sarah, she does not need a GoFundMe. Guys, no one should be funding this lady. And I'll tell you why. If her house is 200 to 250, she says, in a neighborhood with $600,000 houses, her house is worth at least, very, very minimum, $450,000. But she could probably get closer to $500,000 to $550,000. And I know this for a fact. This same exact scenario just played out in my family a couple of years ago. I know it. They had a house. It was built 40 years ago in a neighborhood where the houses were going for $1 million, $1.5 million. Their house had never been updated. It was neat and clean and very tidy, but they got at least $600,000 for that house. Why? Because when you're in a neighborhood with expensive houses, the worst house on the block, the least expensive house on the block, just depending on what kind of a house it is still going to be pulled up in value by those other more expensive houses. So she could get at least 400, if not closer to 550 for her house. But here's my point that no one has pointed out. She is 86 years old. If her house sold for $250,000, let's just say it was $250,000.
Probably closer to $4.
Probably, yeah. But let's say she only got $250,000. She sold it for $300,000. She came away with $250,000 after she paid her credit cards off and her realtor fees and everything. I'm estimating, I'm just estimating. I know it's probably up or down a few thousand, but I'm estimating. That would give her, I looked in Jacksonville, Florida, and some very nice rentals for $1,500 a month. That gives her 133 months worth of rent for 11 years. 11 years. She's 86 years old with leukemia. She's not going to be living to 97 years old.
So that would pretty much solve the problem, and she would be comfortable and
her debt would be paid off.
Be able to live basically the same way.
She doesn't need a GoFundMe. She doesn't need to be mooching off her kids or her ex-husband. She could still pay for the dog if she wanted the dog. If her house sold for $500,000 and she's had $450,000 left over, let's just round, and she's paying $1,500 a month, let's say, because it costs a lot more when you have animals. Sorry, people, but if I was a landlord, I'm going to be charging you more for your animals. They're destructive. People don't take care of their places. That's just the way of life. Let's say she's paying $1,500 a month. That is 300 months of rent. 300 months of rent. And I got my calculations off here somewhere. Let's see. 300 months of rent. That's 25 years of rent, guys. 25 years of rent that she would have. She would be 111 if she lived 25 more years. Absolutely no one brought up this solution. Sell the darn tootin' house and go rent someplace. Oh my goodness. Why people do not think, they don't think these things through. They think that because your house is paid off and your car is paid off and you're debt free, that you shouldn't be selling your house and paying rent. It's okay to pay rent. It really is. No, a reverse mortgage is even worse. She should not do a reverse mortgage. She should sell her house and rent. That is the solution to this problem. Now, I know we are going to get all kinds of comments.
I already had to ban someone.
Oh, you just go, honey. Now, I have to tell you, when I was listening to the Dave Ramsey thing, after the comments I got today, I was just about ready to quit YouTube. And I was so happy when I heard Dave say, we are sitting here trying to give you guys solutions, and all you're doing is sitting on the other side of the computer, B-wording it. Rhymes with itching.
Complaining.
Complaining, but it rhymes with itching. And it's the truth. People are just wanting to make excuses. She was 86 years old, blaming her problems on being a single mother at 19. Stop it. Figure out a solution, run the numbers, and then you can go from there. But no one wants to do that.
Well, what I thought was interesting too is how many people said, now, this is for me, who my heart goes out to her, because I know when you get to a certain place and you realize, man, I made some dumb decisions. Although I don't think she's realized that she made the dumb decisions. I think she just thinks the world happened to her, which is the way most people get. And if you're paycheck to paycheck and you're 40, you're going to be her when you're 86 too, unless you get it together and get out of that situation. But, and that's mainly why we brought this topic up today, is because our mission here is to try to help people get their act together financially. And the thing is that if you're living paycheck to paycheck at 40 or 50, that means you haven't been able to figure out how to get your financial situation in order. And that's why she's using the credit card to pay the credit card bill. Because after all those years, now it's one thing if all this happened when she was 80, but this is the kind of thing that if you're 80 and you don't have the money, you just don't spend the money. The credit card thing is more of I've been in the habit of doing this anyway. But what I noticed a lot of the comments saying on the Dave Ramsey video was, well, someone should point her to an organization to help her with this money and with her dog and whatever. And I'm thinking, it's $200 a month. Any of those people saying someone should help her could get her address and send the money themselves. So when people have a feeling that they're sad for someone, but that feeling isn't enough to take action and give the money yourself, that feeling is kind of pointless.
And she shouldn't be asking
because,
for
well, what
help.
I'm saying is $200. It's not like $200,000. And in this situation, she can do things that she just doesn't want to do. But if you want to help, if you think someone should help her, at $200 a month, almost anyone in America can afford to be that person, to just give her the money if you think it's that important. And that's what I noticed, is how many people were saying someone should help her, but not me.
Well, and I know people who get $1,200 a month and they save $500 of that. And they have a very good savings account. I have another woman that just emailed the other day, and I was looking through show ideas today, and I can't find it now, and I should have had it out. She said, thank you so much. I live on Social Security. I make $1,200 a month. I was in debt up to my eyeballs. I got out of debt, and now I am saving $400 a month. It makes me so angry when people just assume that they should be going for social services. The government should be paying them more. Oh, it's just so, inflation is just so bad. No, it's not. It really is not. It is your spending habits. She has been having a chronic spending problem for 60 years. And this is the consequences of it. And that's fine if you don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. And someone needs to tell you the truth. If you are in this situation, you need to sell your house and rent for the rest of your life. Yes, that's what you need to do. I don't care if you're afraid of change. I don't care if you don't want to move. I don't care if you've lived in that house for 40 years. This is the bed you have made, and you have to lie in it. And listen, I'm all for, I totally get people make mistakes. But the problem now is that people make mistakes and then they don't have to accept the consequences of their mistakes. Because, well, we have to feel sorry for them. Or, oh, well, this is just too bad. Or like with the dog, I'm sure we're going to I haven't looked at the comments yet, but she needs a companion. Well, I'm sorry. That's part of the consequences. Well, so if she wants to keep the dog, sell her house.
Well, I was going to say, it's not like getting rid of the dog is the only possible consequence. Like she has choices of things that she can do. She can get rid of the car, she can sell the house and live in an apartment comfortably without any change to the rest of her life. She can let go of the dog and save 17% of her income. I mean, think about that. How much is 17% of your income? If you were spending that only on a pet, is that worth it? And actually, it's interesting because Stephanie said maybe her daughter, her ex, would take the dog. Well, it's true. There could be somebody, but it doesn't have to be the dog. The thing is, you can't say, I don't have any money, but I don't want to cut anything anywhere or have to sacrifice anything. And this is the problem that we talk to people about who are 40 or 50 or 60, but this lady has managed to live more than 80 years and still be doing that. Like at some point, you just have to decide. Now, one thing I would say, this is our point here is more about you people who are younger, realizing that if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you got to get it together or you're going to be in this situation in the future. So it's mostly not about her, it's about that. But one thing I would say, I was going to say about this situation. I forgot what it was now.
But let me show you this.
Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Let me show you this comment here, right here. It says, the man is telling her to leave her home of 20 years to go to the apartment and then get rid of her dog. That's a tremendous amount of stress on anyone, but the amount of stress on an 86-year-old woman would kill her. This guy needs to stop studying money and start studying humanity. No, this is the woman's choice. She made these choices.
No, but what I'm thinking is the commenter then should contact her and offer personally to make up the $200 difference in her budget, and then he can have his humanity. I mean, the thing is, you can be human. It is true. I will not defend the fact that Dave's guest host, George, or not guest host, his host, George, was not, he didn't have compassion in the situation.
Well, I think he was just trying to figure it out. It's hard when you're live.
But I think,
some
people are, the thing is, in real life, some people are compassionate, some people are matter of fact, some people are mathematical.
Bet you can't guess in our marriage who's who.
And the thing is that I think for me, there's a mixture of feelings of compassion and feelings of recognizing that these things don't just happen by accident to most people. Like, it's just a series of choices you make in your life. But at the same time, when somebody's 86 years old, there's just some things that aren't really practical. Oh, I know the point I was going to make. Even though the point here is really about you specifically in your situation and how to get why you should get your finances under control now, so you're not doing this when you're 80 something.
That's why we tell you at the
same time,
get our cookbook so you know how to cook.
From the perspective of I have great respect for people that are in business and people that make money by providing services to other people and all that. Okay, but I don't have that great a respect for. I don't have any respect for credit necessarily, but the thing is that I think that investors who would invest something, who would make debt for a lady who's that old, they kind of deserve it if she defaults on that. And
and his advice was to let her default on the credit card, which is fine.
I wouldn't say that for a younger.
I don't think she should.
I wouldn't say that for a younger person, but what I would say is, in her situation, I think that she made some choices that got herself here. But at the same time, I think for the company to loan her money at her age and her income level is just stupid. It's a bad investment. And if they lose, that's the cost of doing business for them. So,
but at the same time, it's stealing if she doesn't pay those
I know.
credit cards. But it will come out of her estate if she defaults on them. It'll just come out of her estate when she dies.
Yeah. So,
which is fine because then it's still getting paid.
I'm just saying that
I know they shouldn't be predatory like that.
Well, they're stupid to make loans to somebody who's clearly going to run out of money and not be able to pay them.
Exactly. Yes. You're right.
That's poorly played on their part. But the thing is, the point of this whole thing really, though, is to recognize when you are younger, you need to think, I can't live paycheck to paycheck. How can I get extra money in my budget? How can I set something aside? How can I invest something? How can I own something that has some value so that when I get older, I won't be in this situation? It's not about her. It's about you and recognizing, you know, if you are a person who's living the paycheck to paycheck and has nothing. I mean, if you're single and you're 50 years old and you have nothing and you're living paycheck to paycheck, then that's not a good sign for the future.
Okay. Yeah. And like this person says, this person says she needs a social worker. There are programs to help the elderly, help with utilities, food, Meals on Wheels, car repairs, etc. There's help out there. No, she needs to take some darn tune responsibility for her actions. It frustrates me to no end that people just jump straight to social services when it's not needed. Everyone just assumes you need to do that. Now, as far as what Mike was talking about, if you are in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you need to be doing things now. Stop eating out. Get a good cookbook like our Dining on a Dime cookbooks, 25% off right now. Learn how to cook at home and stop eating out. There's thousands of dollars a year right there that you could save. Stop getting car loans. Sell your car. Get something that you can afford. We are still driving an almost 25-year-old car. We took the windshield in to get replaced today. I told Mike, if this thing dies after we got a brand new windshield, I'm going to be torqued. But it only has 200 and some odd thousand miles on it. So we got a new windshield and we're not buying another new car. Yes, we have a newer car, but our second car is our old clunker we've been driving for 25 years. Stop using your credit cards, period. If you cannot pay cash for it, or if you cannot pay your credit card off every month, I'm not against using credit cards. I'm against using credit cards if you can't pay them off every month. If you cannot pay off your credit cards, then you can go ahead and send me the first ones. Then you should not be using your credit cards, period. If you can't pay them off, don't use them. Turn down your heat to 68, turn up your air conditioning to 78. Yeah, I don't know how many people absolutely refuse to put on a sweater in the winter or turn a fan on in the summer to save on their heat and air. The problem with our society today is that no one is taking responsibility for their actions. And then they get to be 86 years old and they're crying because they can't afford to pay their bills. But when they're in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, I know people who are 50 and 60 years old and they literally have nothing to their name. Like nothing. Their house is mortgaged to the hilt. They have car payments out the wazoo. Their credit cards are charged up. They have nothing saved. And they're expecting to retire in 10 years. And yet they're not changing the way they're spending their money. I have zero sympathy for you. I'm sorry. I really don't. You know, like I said, I watched this YouTuber lady several years ago, and she was on Social Security and talking about how she was having to go to the food bank and all of this, and it was so bad. And she said, "Well, yeah, I kind of did spend a lot on purses when I was working, and I did spend a lot on my credit cards when I was working." Well, so that's the results of your choices. That's the results. All right. Do we still have an audience? Barely.
Yeah, I only had to ban one or two. I think just one.
Well,
and the thing about banning people is we don't ban people for making reasonable comments. It's when people go crazy and start spewing all kinds of "you're wrong and I hate you and this is why I'm not ever going to watch your channel."
Well, that's another thing. Tell them what some of the comments were on Dave's thing.
I just feel like I want to take Dave out for a coffee because one of the comments was, and I'm recognizing that George didn't really respond with any compassion, and that was wrong. And some of the advice was probably not the best advice. But nevertheless, I just think it's funny when people are like, "Well, this is why I hate Dave Ramsey. I'm out." Like, I'm out? Like, who cares? To me, if you're a person that you get mad at something someone says on a video and you say, "I'm out," that's called being a narcissist. Because saying "I'm out" like that suggests that I'm out, so your whole life is going to collapse because I'm not here.
We have people almost every day say that.
I just think to myself, when people say I'm out, I'm like, wow, don't you think a lot of yourself?
So?
Because I was thinking, when I watch a channel, now I like Dave pretty well. I don't watch much of any YouTube really, but I like Dave pretty well. But if there's somebody that I'm watching their channel and there's something about it that I'm like, okay, this is really weird, or this is going across my grain, and it's so much that I can't stand to watch it anymore, I go find another channel to watch.
What?
And
you can watch something else?
That channel anymore.
No.
I don't say I'm out because I know they're going to say, who cares?
I'm like, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
So I just think it's funny that, but one of the other problems I noticed, so again, this is more about everyone that normally follows us and understanding how to improve your financial situation as you go so that when you get older, you're not in a situation like that. But I forgot what I was going to say again. Sorry. I was going to make another comment.
See, what we need to do is just turn the camera on when we're talking about this on the back porch. Because,
well, I don't know. I was just thinking that. Oh, yeah. The other thing I was going to say. Okay, here's the point that I was going to make. There is, it amazes me how many people react to react with feelings toward everything. Like, just because you feel bad for somebody doesn't mean that something needs to happen in this situation involving a third party. Or what I'm saying is, just because you feel bad about something doesn't mean it's true. Or your feelings they're useful for some things, but if you use them as your decision-making tool, they will betray you. And I notice on these things, you can tell where people are coming from by the sorts of things that they say in feeling words.
Like at the age of 86, blaming all her financial problems on being a single mom when she's 19.
But I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the people in the comments. And you can,
well, yeah, listen to this.
You can tell the comments are all feelings based. And
okay.
The feeling is, someone needs to do something, but as long as it's not me, I just want to be here and be the armchair quarterback behind my computer watching the internet and telling everyone else what they need to do. But only God has the ability to do that. Like individual people, you're not the orchestrator of everyone else's life.
Okay, well, listen to these. Watch these. This is the worst episode ever. Wow, this is humanity. Wow, George is unbelievably callous with this 86-year-old woman. His tone was incredibly rude. I listened to that video 3 times, and he was not rude at all. He was not rude. He was trying to figure out a solution for her.
He wasn't especially compassionate, and that was the biggest problem.
But he wasn't
rude. And honestly, I do think that as an older guy looking back on younger guys, I think that he's all about the numbers and solving a certain problem that almost everyone has in the same kind of, pretty much the financial problems that people have, they're all the same. The answers are all the same. And I think he basically just sort of has a script, a checklist that he goes through. And it's like, well, can you do this with your living situation? Can you do this with your credit cards? Can you get a job? And I just think he's a young and wet behind the ears enough guy that he just, it totally blew his mind, totally skipped his mind that he's talking to an 86-year-old lady. I'm not saying that's okay.
Yeah, but he wasn't rude and he wasn't disrespectful.
But he wasn't rude.
He was not rude and disrespectful.
He
and
just
all
didn't
the
have,
comments are talking about how rude he is, and have some humanity in all this baloney.
The thing is, we all know people who have some sort of life situation that's a disaster, and everybody knows on some level they dug the hole for themselves. And still, when they're in a suffering situation, you could try to help them, but if you just say, well, look, you did it to yourself, that's just not really going to help anything at that point. And so I think that was the reaction. But I don't think he was mean. I mean, I think he wasn't
mean about it, but this is her own darn tune fault.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of lack of compassion. But at the same time, if she was any other age, it would have totally been accepted by everyone. But what gets me is just the feelings about all the discussion about feelings by people who wouldn't actually step in and take action themselves. Like if you say, oh, the poor lady, I can't believe she'd have to get rid of her dog over just $200 a month. Well, send her a donation. Because that's the thing is, like, I've noticed that, like, we've noticed some situations like that, and we pay for those things now, currently. And I've noticed so many people that in expressing feelings for that, they don't actually want to take action on that. So those feelings are kind of worthless. Like if you feel that way, then help yourself.
All right, guys, Dining on a Dime cookbooks, 25% off right now in the description below. Our volume 1 and our volume 2. Volume 1 is where you want to get started. Easy recipes that get you in and out of the kitchen quick. Your family will love with ingredients you can afford. Yes, $100 a person is way doable. Gluten-free, dairy-free edition right there is our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. If you are gluten-free, dairy-free like me, easy recipes once again. All right, Kelly, or Dragonfly. Oh, Dragonfly. I think we would get along with Dragonfly.
Based on what Dragonfly's been saying in the comments.
Dragonfly,
like, you're in the right place.
Well, it's a shame that she didn't plan for her future at 86. It's a little late to start worrying about that now.
Oh.
Plus, she had an excuse for every suggestion given to her. Exactly. If she would have said, I really messed up. I was a single mom at 19 and I just really messed up my finances, that would be one thing. But she did not say that. She blamed 40 years worth of working as a single person on 20 years of raising a child. That's how I know she hasn't taken responsibility for her choices. Kelly.
And it's not just about her. That's a call out to you if you do those things.
Stop it now.
If somebody says, why are you doing this with your money? And you have an excuse and you never have enough money. And when people ask you, you have an excuse, that's exactly what you're doing. And that's the future you're going to make for yourself.
All right, let's see. Wait. Okay, let's address this. Weird. They said no GoFundMe, but pointing out that people are saying host was rude, wouldn't go out of their way to help her. Which is it, help or not? Here's the thing. I don't think she should get any help at all, period. Period. But what Mike is saying, all these people are saying that she should do a GoFundMe and go get social services and everything. If you feel that bad about it, then you fork over the $200 every month to this lady to pay for it, is what he's saying.
I'm saying, yeah. If you say, oh,
are you willing to do that?
I can't believe the terrible financial thing that's happening to this person. Somebody should start a GoFundMe. Then what you're saying is completely meaningless, because you're saying you think something, but you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is. If you say, I feel so sad for these poor people in this situation financially, the government needs to do something about it, then again, what you're saying, you don't really believe what you're saying, because if you believed it, you would be willing to sacrifice to give money to that. I'm not saying that a person in this situation should have the money given to them, because like we are where we are because we've sacrificed a lot and given up a lot of things that other people haven't given up. And we do have compassion with some people who need something and it's clearly out of their control. But when people have a situation and it's largely within their control and they just don't want to do it, or they want to deflect responsibility, we don't believe that. But if you do, if you think that poor person needs someone to do something for them, then be the person that does it. That's what I'm saying.
All right, let's start getting through these comments. It might be a long night. Kelly, hello. Hi, everyone. The best thing I ever did was stop using my credit cards. I only use cash or prepaid debit cards. This helps me stay on budget. Very good. Kelly, she needs resources like Meals on Wheels, food pantries. No, she does not. Ashley, no, a roommate would not be best. Wanda, I see you're keeping your house, but selling her car and getting rides to work maybe. Housing is too expensive now. No, it is not. If she sold her house, she could have up to 25 years. Even if rent is going up 10% a year, she still has 10 years of living in an apartment. Even if it went up like 10% a year, she would still have enough money. Kimberly, our house is worth 4 times what we own it. And actually we are surrounded by properties worth 10 times what our property is. Yes, exactly. Olympia, people believe they should live for today and not tomorrow. Yes. Laura, but tomorrow comes quickly, she says. Yes. Lauren, I've been looking forward to your rant ever since you posted we were going live. Thank you. Listen, I've been planning this since I first saw the show 2 weeks ago. And then I saw what Dave Ramsey said today. And I'm like, all of you guys are missing the point. She needs to sell the darn tootin' house. She needs to sell it.
Well, and the thing about the house you've lived in for 20 years.
Sorry.
You can't have an emotional connection to everything if you can't afford your life, because it's not other people's responsibility to afford your life for you. And
Patty says, why are so many people trying to make excuses for this woman? That's exactly it. Choices have consequences. They have consequences. I know of a person who was working in a prison, had an intimate relationship with an inmate, and now they can't get a job. What do you want me to tell you? That was your choice. This woman has been spending thousands of dollars above her budget for things she can't afford, like the dog. And who knows, whatever else. I'm sure she's spending on other things. I have very serious doubts she's only $200 over her budget. I have very serious doubts. Okay. Let me see here. This video and what made me more mad was everybody was jumping all over George. Like he was the bad guy.
Well, mainly, yeah, I just think that he was
not the bad guy. He was trying to come up with a solution for this lady. He wasn't the bad guy. Now, he didn't come up with the solution that he should have, but that doesn't make him the bad guy.
The blunt reaction and some solutions like get a job at 86 are probably not great solutions.
Just because you're blunt doesn't mean you're rude.
But I think he was trying to solve a problem, but he was giving the wrong solutions and he wasn't giving them in a very compassionate way. But I do think that he was legitimately trying to give her some sort of solution. And I just think that the way he came across just wasn't at all good. But at the same time, the problem that he wouldn't have had this response if she wasn't in the situation. I mean, literally, if you are charging your credit card to pay the minimum payment on the same credit card, if you were writing a check and taking it in and cashing the check, and then taking the cash and going and putting it in the bank, that is highly illegal. But that's basically what you're doing if you're charging the credit card in order to be able to make the minimum payment for the credit card. So even though, yes, he wasn't very compassionate with her, at the same time, there wouldn't be this discussion at all if she wasn't in the situation doing this with the money. And I'm not, again, this isn't about this lady. This is about you making excuses in your life
right now
that
are going to affect you in the future,
putting you on the same path. That's like, this isn't about talking about this lady. Like, her life is whatever it's going to be, and she's going to do what she's going to do. But for you, what are you going to do?
Yep. All right. Let's see. Kenneth, we love you, Kenneth. He says there may be more to the story. I'm sure there is. And part of it, she said, well, I can't live with my daughter for personality clashes. Oh, I'm sure there's a whole lot going on there. So I totally get that. But she did say that her daughter told her to let her know if she has to use the credit card before she charges. So her daughter is aware of the situation, but the mother may not be being truthful with the daughter. Blanca says maybe she figured she wouldn't live this age and still going forward. Well, that's her problem then.
Who was it that said?
Blanca.
Was it Olympia that said the future comes fast or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. Ave said, I saw that show. Not sure why they didn't suggest bankruptcy. It's against the Ramsey principles. There's no reason for her to declare bankruptcy. There's no reason. She has the money to pay for this. She needs to be responsible for her actions, even at 86 years old. Now, if she wants to just stay in her house and stop paying her credit cards, that's fine. It'll be taken out of her estate when she dies. Or move to a smaller apartment, or buy a cheaper house. She's in Florida. I don't know if you could find a house for $200,000. If she got $500,000, she probably could find something, I would think. But, yeah. So Stephanie says, heck, I live on $700 a month Social Security and always have left money. Yeah, exactly. CC says it's all about choices and priorities. Yes. Linda, her house and car are worth at least $200K. That's enough to move and live on another decade. Exactly. Amy says a mere $1,200 a month for Social Security in case of very low salary or career or part-time work. Rehome the dog, sell the house, rent a room. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she needs to rent a room. I totally agree. The way crazy people are crazy nowadays, I really am not a big fan of roommates anymore. I just not. But you know what? She had 40 years working. If she had that low of an income, she had 40 years to get her act together and get a better paying job. You know, I mean, I'm sorry. Stephanie says she won't make any changes. That's the problem right there. And that may possibly be why the daughter doesn't help more, because she's like, Mom, you're not controlling your spending. I'm not going to give you more money just to flush down the toilet. That's a very possible scenario. Giving money, Cece says, giving someone money handouts doesn't help the problem that they have no money handling skills. Exactly. But people think that just giving handouts is the solution for all this. That's why we do not give handouts to people. We just don't. I don't ever support a GoFundMe thing. I don't think I've ever supported a GoFundMe thing. Now, there are certain places that we know how they're handling their money. We know what it's being spent on. We know they're being accountable to us, and we help them out with that situation. And so that's how we do it. The next one. But you need to make sure those people are handling their money better.
Well, and the thing in general, I've noticed that the default thing for anyone who runs into any sort of financial thing is people say there's a GoFundMe going. But I think there are some limited circumstances where I might support one. For instance, if sometimes people have a real disaster, like a medical thing where, yes, there's some kind of insurance coverage.
But I wouldn't go through GoFundMe. I'd just give them the money.
There's some kind of like medical thing where, yes, there's insurance coverage and they burned all their savings, and you know there are things that they just can't afford, totally, and you're going to help them. But GoFundMe takes a commission. So do you want to I would just give it straight to them if I felt like doing that.
Yep. Amanda says, I seasoned the beef with a taco packet I wanted to get rid of. It was very good. Good. Sue, love my cat and dog, but I'll save so much once they are gone. I am convinced they are going to outlive me. Yeah, that's why we don't have pets anymore. They're ridiculously expensive. Kimberly, it's and I had to take care of one of my kids' pets one time, and they were going to be out of cell phone range out in the woods. And I said, okay, if something happens and I have to take this to the vet, what's the limit on this? Because I certainly am not going to have a $5,000 or $10,000. I will not do a $5,000 or $10,000 vet bill. I will have you mad at me for putting your animal down before I will put you in that kind of debt. And I said, what's the limit? And they said, well, probably around $1,000. So if it's right around there, anything over that, probably not going to go ahead and put the money into it. And you need to think of these things. Are these animals, I don't care how much companionship they give you, are they worth the 1, 2, 3, 4? I know people, the same show, the same Ramsey show, this other lady called in and I can't remember the exact situation, but they couldn't pay their bills somehow. And she thought about selling their house and moving. And he said, well, can you rent? She said, well, not really. We have 5 big dogs. Get rid of the dogs. She said they had to take their food back to Costco because they couldn't afford it.
I think it's funny. People say things like, well, you're obviously not an animal lover.
I've had animals almost my entire life. I love animals, but this has gotten out of hand.
The problem is, yeah, we love animals, but my goodness, people say I have 4 or 5 dogs and I can't pay my groceries. I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, hello.
Eat your dog.
You can't have everything. You have to decide. If you want to have 5 dogs and you don't have the money and you don't want to get a better job, then you'll have to not eat while your dogs eat.
Somebody's
the thing
gonna
is,
take that out of context.
well, what
now.
gets me,
I'm going to go viral for telling people to eat the dog.
What gets me is another thing that I hear a lot is, well, maybe she just had not this lady, but people in general, just had a low income all this person's life. Look, if you make $12 an hour at a retail store and you work for 50 years, somewhere along the way, you could get a job that pays more. You could say, man, I don't hardly make any money. You could go to dental school or medical assistant school. I forgot all those things. And you could make a lot more than that, whatever, $12 an hour. So it may be that today you're having a hard time doing that because of your experience and your income, your experience and your education level. But those are solutions people can make for themselves over the course of decades. And if you don't, then you just chose that. And, if you're disabled, if you're like super disabled, then you just do anything you can if you want to work. But
see, listen to this.
Most people aren't disabled.
Our wonderful friend Kimmy at She's in Her Apron.
Hello, Kimmy.
She says her dog needs dental work. It's going to be $700. But here's what she said. So when we do the procedure, we are going to be eating from our food storage that month and pay cash for the dental work. It's sad. She's swallowing food whole, the poor thing. That is fine. They can afford to pay for that. And they have a solution to doing that. If you're putting it on your credit card, you can't afford it.
Silly, I just keep the dog.
If I go viral for telling people to eat their dogs, I'm gonna. But on that other lady who had to return her groceries to Costco, if you're returning your groceries to Costco, you can't afford to be shopping at Costco. Stop it! Oh my goodness! Okay. Kimberly, it's a shame to be a single mom and make those sacrifices, and now she doesn't have a good relationship with a child. Makes you think that there's been not a lot of responsibility taken her whole entire life. Exactly. I think that's exactly what's happening here. Shannon, sounds like she's not taking responsibility or accountability for anything. Yeah. Wanda, she may have spent 40 years working lower paid jobs. Yeah, but she should have gotten a better job then. 40 years at a low paying job is no excuse. It's just not an excuse.
And you know what? I can relate to that place because I worked at a grocery store for 8 years. And didn't make very much money. And I think I was maybe just a little bit afraid to do something different. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. But there's a point where you just have to say, I have to kind of be brave, step out of the comfort zone and do something else. Because like at those low income levels, it's not a very big reach to get $2 more an hour and then $5 more an hour. And then
when we got the comment, George on the show was rude. He cut her off many times. He cut her off because she kept making excuses. And he would say, well, what about this? Well, I can't, blah, blah, blah. Well, what about this? Well, I can't, blah, blah, blah. She was doing nothing but making excuses. Sue says, sounds like she needs to have her credit cards taken away. Yeah, Kimberly says, made Mexican lasagna tonight with homemade taco seasoning. It turned out wonderful. That is in our Dining on a Dime Volume 1, the taco seasoning. And on Volume 2, you can find a Mexican casserole similar to the Mexican lasagna on our casserole page there. See, everybody's saying she should get rid of her credit card. Someone says she should have her house priced by a realtor. Yes, even at the price she thinks you can get with $250,000, she could still be more than fine. I know for a fact, unless her house is a major hoarder house that smells to high heaven and has literal crap all over the place. Okay, maybe it's worth $200 then. But if it's in fairly neat order, even if it's 20 years old, I mean, that's as old as our house. She could get at least that amount. Julianne says, preach it. My husband and I are starting to get it together. Very good. Sarah has no credit card and no debt. Very good. Texas says, I'm a landlord. I rent a small home with a fenced yard to an 80-year-old woman. She has a dog. She pays $800 a month. Yeah, there are several comments. Well, no one's going to rent to an 86-year-old woman. Yes, they will. Besides, there's senior housing. There are lots of options. It's just a matter of looking. Let's see. Joyce, I see so many people who don't want to change, not willing to do the work to change. That's exactly it. And I'm sorry if she's 86 years old and don't want to change, but these are the consequences of your actions. Dragonfly. She turned down every suggestion. She just wants to ride. She really didn't want help. Thank you. That was the exact point. And that's why George was cutting her off and being kind of short. I don't think he was rude by any stretch of the imagination, but we get these people all the time. I totally understand why he was frustrated with this lady. Totally. That's why I stopped answering emails when people email me and say, well, Tara, I really need help with this. And what am I supposed to do? And I would spend like a half an hour writing an email telling them this, 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 and this. And then they would come back and literally have an excuse for every single thing. Every single thing. And I got to the point, I just don't answer those emails anymore. I don't. I'll make it into a show if I think it's worthy of a show, but I'm not going to waste my time. People asking me about their problems and then they don't want to change anything. And I have to say, on our grocery audits, I think people were asking for updates, and I could maybe email them all and do an update. But I think every single person, I was trying to think if there was one that didn't, but I think every single person on our grocery audits, I have to give them credit. They were very willing to change. I was very impressed. I was very, very shocked. I honestly didn't think people would want to change. And I've had several of them email me and say, thank you so much. I changed this, 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 and this, and I've saved so much. So, yeah. Consumer Debt says, I live way beneath my means as a single teacher. Yes. That makes me so mad too. When I get the whole, well, I'm a teacher, so I can't afford anything. Excuse me, you're a teacher making $60,000 to $80,000 a year. You expect me to give you sympathy? No way.
That's why it's good to see you saying that you save half your income. That's more reasonable.
It can easily be done, and you're proof right there. Angie says, open a window and let the air in. Even cheaper. Yes, it is. Cheryl, I can't imagine what her payment on the credit card every month is. I know. Beth, oh my goodness, I had to laugh at Mike going to watch something else. Exactly what I do. I know. You don't need to say a word. Just shut your flap and move on.
Well, I've just known people close up who felt the need to let everybody know, have a piece of my mind. I'm like,
Why?
They don't really care. Like, you might think you told them something important, but
Kayla says, people are snowflakes today. As a 90s kid, I am embarrassed. As the Dining on a Dime Queen says, get it together, people. That is exactly what I say. Denise, doesn't she have children who could chip in $200 a month? Yeah, and it sounds like her daughter was willing to do that. Karen, gotta love the yes, but people. I know. Always have excuses. Sharon, I totally agree with you about taking responsibility. I was raised that way by my single mom. God bless her tenacity. Pay your bills before you play theory. I am now 75, a widow, live comfortably with frugal state of mind. By the way, I invested in your volume 1, which is the red one, and volume 2 cookbooks. Even though I've always been a frugal cook, these books are terrific and inspiring. Wow. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you like our books. Down in the description below. And guys, they have everything. Your grocery bill can be $100 a month if you follow the recipes in our cookbook. If you can't afford the cookbook, livingonadime.com is where you can go to get all of our recipes for free. But guess what? I'm going to give you one even better. If you go to livingonadime.com, click on our ebooks, click on Dining 1. It's the volume 1. The ebook volume 1 is right here. If you type in that, put that in your cart, go to the very end where it says discount code, type in Dining, DINING 1, the number 1, not ONE, the number 1, DINING number 1, you will get that ebook for free.
What?
You have no excuse to not know how to cook. You have no excuse. Okay. Next one is.
Wow. I was unaware that she was going to give away a free
Are you moving quick?
I am.
Are you moving quick?
Poof. It's in the comments.
So now you really have no excuse.
Yes.
I just love it when people give me all these whining comments and they're like, well, yeah, but you don't live in California. You don't live in Florida. You don't live in New York City. It's like, I give everything for free on my website. Everything's for free on the website. If you can't take the time to go to the website and look for what you're looking for, or take the time to download a free ebook, I cannot help you. Livingonadime.com. Oh my goodness. Dancing Girl says it's not what you say, but it's what you spend. Exactly. Can you send me the next one? Diane says, I've been telling my friend to sell her house as a solution to her problems for several years now, but she just has a million excuses. She needs to move to a cheaper area too. Yep. Heidi, is there any apartments for elderly that base the rent off of income where she lives? We have them in Minnesota. I'm sure she does. It's Florida. Everywhere. Yeah. I've never heard of a state that doesn't have them. Sarah Meg says her budget needs analysis. She could have a cable bill of $150 and a cell bill for another $100. I'm sure she does. She probably does. Consumer debt chit chat says, I watch people live in nice houses, drive nice cars, clothes, and make us all think they are rich. Exactly. Bully Porter Jones says, I love watching people use their food stamps and WIC and then pull out their new iPhone and head to their new their new cars. I know, in their new clothes. Tell me about it. Donnie's, the young people and most of my family think they got everything from the beginning and in the debt up to you. You know what? I started with hardly anything and saved till I could afford it. Yep. Midwest Mom says, yep, a friend is like that. She doesn't have 2 nickels going on vacation Friday. I can't do it with her. I can't be with her anymore. I know. I know. Ashley, question. What is the best way to save to buy a house? Spend less money than you earn and save the rest. Literally, that's it. Cut the cable, cut the high phone bill, cut the car payment, cut eating out, cut the coffees, cut the prepaid made foods at the store, buy everything you can at the thrift store. Every 95% of the items you buy for your household goods, and I mean, I'm talking paper towels and cleaning products and all that, should be bought at thrift stores and yard sales. Froze Family says, Dave Ramsey also points out that if people want to prosper, they should wait to have children until they are married. I know, it sounds like she was married, had a kid, and then was divorced at 19. But I'm sorry, she had 60 years. Even with 1 kid. 60 years? Really? Karen says, I'll always be here. She agrees with us. Oh, thanks. Consumer Debt Chit Chat says, I knew at 35 I needed a real career, not just a job. I would retire in 12 years with a 30-year Florida pension. Very good. Vicky, I agree, Mike. I stopped watching the channel. I just unsubscribed. Yep. Consumer Debt Chit Chat says, I'm a teacher, and I tell you, I'm sure I've been impatient at times with students, so I can kind of understand. Yeah, I mean, the thing that makes me so angry is when people are just giving excuses and they don't even want to try. They don't even want to try. They literally have an excuse for every single solution you give. Every single solution. So at that point, I'm like, forget it. I'm not helping you anymore. You don't want to even try to have a solution. There are many very viable solutions to this problem. If you don't want to do it, I'm not going to help you anymore. And I don't help them anymore. I'm done with trying to help people that don't want to try to not even figure it out. They just have an excuse for everything. Consumer Debt also says, we also discussing what temperature everyone has their home set on. Yeah. I mean, ours is set at 78 right now.
Actually, it's funny because
I had it at 77 and he was cold.
Sometimes I'll take my work to the library and I have to bring a coat in the summer because it's like 68 degrees in there. And I think, who uses 68 degrees in the summer? I wouldn't be able to go outside if I was accustomed to 68 all day long, but ours is 78 and that's plenty all right for me.
Oh, brother. Okay. You can send me the next one. Squeaky Melissa says, question, if you have your air conditioner set at 78, won't your stockpile pantry food go bad? No. 78, it's more than your stockpile food will not go bad until you start hitting the 90s and the 100s. And that has to be inside your garage or your house or wherever you're storing it. 90 to 100s is where it'll start being a problem, but anything below that is perfectly fine. Pat says, our cookbooks are the best. Thank you so much. She made our cinnamon roll recipe on page 95. Yummy and delicious and super easy to make. Right there, page 95. Also, that recipe is on my other YouTube channel, Super Easy Recipes, if you want to go watch it on there. Wanda, why does my gallon of water taste different than the bottled, and they are the same brand?
So yeah, she said they were both store. I asked her if one was open, but I haven't seen yet because it's weird.
I have no idea. That's a new one on me. I don't know. Maybe they bottle them at different plants because I know bottled water is just done at municipal water plants, like Houston Municipal Water Plant, LA Municipal Water Plant. So maybe look on the back of the bottles and see if it says if they're from different plants, because that might make a difference. Vicky, what makes us think that even if she sold her house, rented an apartment, her spending habits will change? That's just more dollars for her to burn through. Then that's her own darn tootin' problem.
But it didn't occur to me that could be an issue.
Then she needs to give her money to her daughter and have her daughter write and pay all the bills and give her an allowance to spend on other things. Kathy, she needs to look at all her bills. If she has cable, cut the cable. She stop feeding the dog expensive food. If this doesn't help sell the house, teach. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, Paula's loving the show. She said it's a great show tonight. Thank you. Maybe we need to do Tara Reacts more often.
Thank you, Paula.
The excuses is what's driving. I've been listening to a neighbor's barking dog all week. This is what the problem is. My brain is fried. We are back. We got new neighbors. And now their darn tootin' dogs are barking. Every time they let it out, they leave it out for like an hour and just let it bark because it wants to be put in. So I got my trusty handy dandy Sonic anti-dog barking thing. And next week we're going to be putting up a fence that's even taller. So it's going on there. We're going to get this dog trained. Kimmy, people are afraid of change. I know they're afraid of change, but I'm sorry. I'm afraid of change too. I don't like it, but
the only way to grow though is if there's something that you know you should do and you're afraid to do it, you have to just say, oh, I'm scared of it, but I'm just gonna push through it anyway.
Yeah.
And then you'll grow and you won't be afraid of it anymore.
And then she says sometimes we need to make a big drastic change to put the fire in our butts to get things moving. Amen, sister. Olympia says you can't work a low-paying job and spin like Rockefeller. Exactly. Becky, at what was her age when she was married? I would assume 18, since she was divorced single mom by the time she was 16. So 19. 19. So that's the impression I got. My mother says whether you are 18 or 86 and don't want to do something, sometimes you have to buck up and do it anyway. My mom is 96 and she accepted change and did just fine. Exactly. She didn't make excuses. Exactly. That's why I have no sympathy. Absolutely no sympathy. So you just got to do it. And that's just life. And you know what? Sometimes it really stinks, and I'm sorry. And sometimes life throws you curveballs that you wish you didn't have to deal with. But you know what? Life stinks, and then you just have to keep going on anyway. So you just got to do it. Darlene, what state does she live in? It said Jacksonville, Florida. Letitia, what about single people? They need to make the best choices for themselves also. Very important. Yeah, I know several single people who are in their 50s and 60s, and they don't have a penny to their name, and it's their own darn tootin' fault. They like eating out. They like buying this. They like buying that. They like going on vacations. Sorry. Vicky says, I make lousy wages as a single person. I save money from every check. I'm not planning on being that 86-year-old woman in 30 years. Very good. Water Bucket says, grocery audit was helpful. Price book is brilliant. I know what a real sell price is and when to stock up. Thank you. You are welcome. She was one of my grocery audits. So she's talking about my price book I sent to her. And what it is, I mean, guys, it's so simple. All you do is just pick 3 stores in your area, write down the lowest price this week. So like, let's say this is this week's ad and milk is $2.47 a gallon. So I put right here, Albertsons, milk, $2.47 a gallon. Then if it's cheaper next week, let's say it's $1.97 a gallon, then I'll just erase it and put $1.97. Then I'll know that's my stock up price when it's that low, so that when it's stocked up, then I put a couple of gallons in my freezer. That's how you do it. So I am so glad that helped. Joni says, I know someone always complaining no money, but then they go out and buy $200 worth of shoes. I know. You can send me the next one.
It's funny because I've noticed I've had people ask for money advice, and sometimes after 4 or 5 times of, oh, I can't do that, again, I realize, oh, I see. This is a person that doesn't really want to do it. Yeah. And then I politely excuse myself and go do something else.
Cece says, I'm reminded of the fable of the grasshopper and the ants. Exactly. Claire says, thanks for that very generous PDF offer. I got my first ebook. I now own both the book 1 and 2. That's the red and the blue book in paper, because she saw the ebook and said, hey, this is so cool. I want the hard copy. So she got those 25% below, guys, and our gluten-free, dairy-free edition right here if you're gluten-free, dairy-free like me. Diamond Willow says, I found a replacement for #1 book, the coil one before the red and blue at the thrift store. Wow. Well, there you go. If you have a coil one, you have a very old version of that, because we haven't had that for
long time.
Wow. And Paula loves the book, and she was very happy with hers also. Thank you. And Paige got the ebook, and she loved it. Thank you. And Karen got the ebook also. And then she saved up for the hard copies because she loved the ebook so much. Jim says, when people refuse help suggestions, no wonder hosts get frustrated. Yeah, I totally feel with these YouTube people. I mean, I totally get it. And it's amazing. It's amazing YouTubers keep going. Actually, it's really amazing that some people keep going. There are days I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I have no hope for the world. I have no
She pretty much says that every day, people.
Okay, every day I say that.
And we have a good group.
Yeah.
But even so, there's still a certain percentage of people that check in that are, It's funny. The internet has made people really good at sitting at home, commenting on things they wouldn't do themselves. But we have a good group.
Dee Dee, I got the dreaded thing going around, that C disease last week. I don't need anything because I have all my preps. Very good. 0 spent on groceries in 7 days. Good. I spent, yeah. Well, actually, I can't tell you that. I'm going to tell you this probably next week. So never mind. I'll tell you later. Carol. Carol says, I'm 85 and I still learn so much from our YouTube blog and your cookbooks. Thank you very much. I am glad you are learning so much.
Yes, thank you.
Jennifer, there really is no excuse not to take advantage of help and advice. As soon as I heard the free ebook, I had that in my cart fast, under 5 minutes, and I already took advantage of that offer. Thanks so much. You are welcome. See? Very good. Well, and it drives me crazy. Now, I put up my garage sale video yesterday.
Oh, here we go. For good
I
reason.
am trying to keep my calm here. Showing all my garage sale deals for the month of June, the entire month of June. I'm not going garage selling this weekend, so it was for the entire month of June. Well, there's a couple of things that I got yesterday that I didn't have in there, but everything else. It's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to tell you it's not a lot of stuff, but I show you these things. I got toothbrushes for 10 cents. I got comforters for twin beds, for couches, for when I have my kids are staying over. We have 3 couches that they need to sleep on. I didn't have I had bigger blankets, but I didn't have any smaller blankets for the couches. So I needed some twin comforters. $3, $1, and free. I got mom a birthday present for, I don't know, I probably saved $30 or $40 on it. I got a little green dish thing that I didn't know was worth $42. I misspoke in the video. I didn't know it was worth $42. And thank you, Loretta, for pointing that out to me.
Was that the candy dish one?
Yes, still saving. And I got, I don't know. Then I got a bunch of flowers that I just wanted for videos that are coming up. Half of the stuff that I got, more than half, is for videos coming up. Actually, probably 3/4 to 85% of it was for videos. And the comments I got, oh, well, I see we're nothing but a junk collector now. Wow, you sure have a lot of junk. Oh my, that's inspiring me. I don't want that kind of junk everywhere. So let me get this straight. I buy a lot of junk, pay probably $20. Let's say I spend $20 on my solar light video that I'm getting ready to do on the junk. And I make $500 just in the first 2 or 3 weeks. Not even mentioning if it goes viral. Who's the stupid one then? Not me. Let's see, what kind of if I let's say it's $25 and I make $200, $250.
Wait, say it again.
If I spend $25 and I make $250, is that that's like 1,000% increase, isn't it?
Well, it's 1,000% total. It's a 900% increase.
900% return on my money. 900%. How many of you can say you have investments that are 900% return on your money?
But that's what I was talking about. Those are the kind of comments that are like, I'm just sitting here being superior behind the computer because nobody can see me and I would have to actually face you and tell you that in real life.
$250 is a low video.
Yeah.
If I have a video go viral, I could easily earn $25,000.
Yeah.
Who's the dumb one now? And it's been a rough week with comments. I'm just like, holy moly. And then another lady was, what was that one? Okay, I got to look this one up because I was just like, this one put me over the edge. Okay. where this one put me over the edge. This is such a good example of Matthew 6:19. Thanks for sharing. Okay, Matthew 6:19 says, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal. I'm not. If my house burned down tomorrow, there would be about 4 things that I would be sad were gone.
Well, I think if you weaponize scripture like that, then Matthew 7:21 is probably for you.
And what is Matthew 7:21, my love?
Not everyone who calls out to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Only those who actually do the will of my Father in heaven will. On Judgment Day, many will say, Lord, Lord, we prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and perform many miracles in your name. But I will reply, I never knew you. Get away from me, who break God's laws. If you weaponize scripture like that for stupid reasons that are your own personal thing, then...
Well, I told her, I said, it most certainly is. I plan to have a lot of treasures in heaven because I don't value this stuff. It's a video about saving money. Hello. I mean, even if all of this stuff that I bought, if I brought it home, filmed it, and then turned right around and either threw it in the trash or took it back to the thrift store, a $900 return on my money on the low end is a very good return on my investment. Oh my goodness. So I felt Dave Ramsey's pain this week. Jennifer, there really is no excuse to not take advantage of help and advice. I heard of the free book I had. Oh, she got that one. Sorry. I got that one. DK says, we're getting used to 78 now too. And if we hadn't, we would be dying right now in an outage. Yes. The thing is, all you have to do is turn on a fan. It's not so much the temperature of the air. It's the air movement that helps it feel cooler. So we have it at 78. I turn a fan on that just, does the whole room, and we're perfectly fine. We are perfectly fine. All right. And I'm glad. I hope your power comes back soon. Actually, there's supposed to be tornadoes in the Dakotas tomorrow.
I forgot where she said she is, but the storm knocked out a big storm knocked out their power.
Been there, done that. Jill says, I made your banana bread and it was the best I've ever had. Is that not the most darn tootin' good bread you've ever had? So that and the muffins are the only recipes that are repeated in volume 2 because when we updated this, I wanted to put variations and I didn't have room. So I had to add it in volume 2. So there's 14 variations on the muffins and something like that for the banana bread. By the way, this week I did the variations and that video is coming up soon. While Jack's friends were visiting here from Colorado, I'm like, yes, 3 teenage boys who can eat all of those muffins.
Yes.
I made 10 videos this week because I had 3 teenage boys to eat them. Now that we're down to just 1, we aren't going through the food near as fast. And so, yeah, but anyway, Little Crafty Nook says, oh no, our neighbor's newborn screamed every day for a year. So I totally understand. Oh my goodness. Oh, Dave did that when he was born and it was awful. Absolutely awful. The next one, Dee Dee, Mike, I always bring a heavy sweatshirt in the summer wherever I go. That's funny. Kimmy says you have a barking dog and we have a rooster next door that needs to get a clue. It calls out at 1 and 3 a.m. Do roosters eat meatballs laced with extra things? I don't know. I would be tempted. Oh dear. Let's see. You're renting, right? Okay. At least you didn't buy that house. Tara, no eating the next door neighbor's dogs. Oh my goodness. Don't get me started. Phyllis, I carry a sweater wherever I go because the AC is too high. I know. It's crazy what the temperatures they keep these things. I don't know. At the family reunion at the library yesterday, what did the other 2 think of the temperature at the library?
I don't think they thought anything of it because they were walking around.
Oh, okay.
But when I'm sitting in there like most of the other people are,
yeah.
If I don't bring a jacket, then I get nothing done because I think of how much I'm freezing.
Vicky says, a few months back, Kroger had bags of red peppers for $1 a bag. She bought 4 bags, chopped them frozen. Very good. And she also says, we aren't in debt, but in the past we're in debt. We got a situation by paying down our debt. Now I charge everything and pay off a credit card every week. Very good. Beth says, great show. Most people need to hear your advice. Thank you. Well, what frustrated me was I was like, not one single person. Now, I didn't look through all the comments because there was thousands of them, but we looked through a lot. And not one single person, Dave Ramsey, George, or whatever that other lady's name is, none of them said, sell your house. Right there, it's all taken care of. You're not stealing from people by claiming bankruptcy. Just sell your house. Now, I'm fine also with her just not paying the credit card because then the credit cards will get it after she dies when her house is sold. So that's fine. But, yeah. Donna says, I have 1 cat and when he passes away, I'm not getting any more pets. Yeah, we are done with animals. I love them dearly, but I am done. Peggy, my house and car, I'd rather go on vacation. Peggy, my house and car are paid off and my bills are always paid. Very good. She also saved a lot listening to us.
Yay.
Thank you. And Janet loves our volume 1 and volume 2 cookbooks, the red and blue one. Thank you so much for buying it. Karen, is your iodine trick for sinusitis on the website? It is not, I don't think. That I got from a gentleman. He is Mormon, and let's see. Did it say Mormon in his title or LDS? Maybe it was LDS something or another.
The iodine thing?
Yeah, for the nebulizer. I can't remember. Hold on. Let me see if I could see real quick. LDS nebulizer. Let's see. My computer's not loading very quick because we're on. Shoot, he was an older gentleman, probably mid-50s, something like that. And he was, here's those people called Living on a Dime. We should go watch them. Okay. I can't remember, but it was an LDS guy, and he said put 1 drop of iodine and I think 2 of the peroxide. I can't remember. Now, we haven't had to use it for a while, and I go and look it up every time, and I keep forgetting. But anyway, yeah, it was something to that effect. Mary Ellen says, found organic ground chuck for $3.99 at Aldi. Very good. Robin says, the excuse making reminds me of a lesson I learned not so long ago. I would want to help with coping with someone with extreme abuse when I was a child. The counselor would give me 3 or 4 suggestions. I shot each one down. They would not suggest anything more. When I decided that I would try everything, I got better so fast. Yep. That's exactly it. Sheila, this weekend I made the shepherd's pie in volume 1, the red one. It was so yummy. I have loved the books in the volume 2 also. Thank you. Keep trying out new recipes. Thank you. Lori, I just ran over to my thermostat and changed it from 76 to 77. You inspired me. Thank you. You're welcome. Wanda says, I have 2 friends who complain about food prices. Anytime I've offered suggestions, they will tell me they don't have my talent. Oh, that makes me so mad. They also go out to eat regularly. They don't want to change. They just want to complain. Yep. Donna, ours is set at 78, 77. I'm wondering if it's cheaper to run floor fans instead of ceiling fans in the rooms when we are in them. I don't know. I do the floor fan because it's more air. But Kelly made the double chocolate cookies and her family loved them. Thank you so much. Donna bought some blackout curtains to help with the hot sun. Yes, that helps a lot. Kimberly says there's been lots of sales on meat stocking up. Man, I need to go buy you, Kimberly. My freezer is almost empty. My one freezer. I could move everything from the big freezer into the little freezer now.
What?
I probably could, yeah.
So we need to prep some more then?
Well, I've been waiting for meat to go on sale here, and it hasn't been going on sale. So, yeah. Katie, She's in the thick of menopause and keeps the thermostat at 80 degrees in the dead of summer. If I can do it, others can too. Oh, yeah, that excuse makes me so mad. Just turn on a fan. Little crafty nook. My ex gambles and his pension is almost gone. He chose the higher payout at less time. Well, there you go. Terry keeps her air on 81. It's been 97 today. Very good. Nancy Girl loves our price book. It is amazing. Yeah, this is how you're going to save a ton of money at shopping. And this is how you're going to save the money on cooking the recipes.
Woo-hoo.
Kimmy says she's in her apron. Derek and I were hoping for an anniversary getaway this year. Work was going to send Derek to a conference in Texas. Love that hotel. It would only cost us my plane ticket, but they're not sending him out anymore. Bummer. Aw, that stinks. Sarah, I have a question. Do you have a method of making sure your bills are paid on time? Yeah, it's called Mike.
I mean, for the most part, well, I just am really...
Like once a week, you go through and just check and see what needs to be paid.
Yeah. I mean, usually I get messages about them and I keep the messages all together. But if we get a bill in the mail, I try to write the check for it right then. If sometimes we got a bill for a medical thing that we thought was done like 9 months later for like, I don't know, $1,500. And I called them and said, hey, what's this bill? I thought we were done with this. We paid and I thought they said we were done. And so I got a thing a few days later saying, oh, we've just taken that off. So, but as far as paying the bills, I try to pay them as soon as they come in. I had thought about at one point in case I don't get the message, because a lot of them come by email. I thought about keeping a list of which ones we pay at which times, but pretty much for us, it's just, I pay them as soon as I get a notice about them. So.
Kiwi says they put their floor fan on the vent and push the cool air around. Yes, that is an excellent idea. And when I had vents that I could do that, that is the way I did it. Also, I need to do that tip. Let's see. I got to find a vent in this house. Let's see. All of our vents are coming from the ceiling, though, aren't they? Okay, so I'll have to fake it for the video because all of our AC vents come from the ceiling.
Oh, she says they have floor vents?
Yeah, because all of ours come from the ceiling, don't they?
Yeah, air conditioning coming from the floor is kind of a problem because heat rises and cold goes down.
But we used to, at the one house, they came out of the walls.
I would think that the floor fans might be better for that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll fake it. We'll fake that video.
Well, we can run air conditioner on the downstairs unit.
Yeah, that's true.
We have
2 heaters and 2 air conditioners.
Well, we thought there was a heater downstairs and a heater and an air conditioner upstairs, but we hired a company to come out and help us understand the way something was connected recently. And we found out we actually have an air conditioner downstairs and upstairs. We only ever use the upstairs one because the cold goes down to the downstairs without it.
Bounty the Badlands says beef is only going to keep going up, Tara. I know, but today I got to tell you my good deal. I'm going to show it on the next video. But guess what happened to me today?
What?
So we discovered Mike gets the senior discount this year.
I do?
Guess who's going grocery shopping?
You can get one being that young?
But I went today.
I didn't think they do it till at least you get 50.
I went today because they had ground beef, 80% ground beef patties, $15 for 5 pounds. So $3 a pound, which has been really good for here. I haven't seen it for less than $3 a pound. It was $2.47 a while ago, but it's been several months. So I got it. But then when I got up there, she handed me my receipt and she gave me the senior discount. See, gray hair pays off.
I was going to say, Tara's really not the senior discount age, but they just throw it on there automatically when they see gray hair.
So I got it for like $2.75 a pound, I think, $2.60 a pound. I got it for $2.60 a pound. I was super happy. Okay. Let's see. Kinsey, I noticed certain times of the year items go on sale, stocking up condiments like mustard, ketchup. Now, yes, now is the time to do all of your 4th of July sales. Your burger buns, your burgers, your ketchup, your mustard, your mayonnaise, your watermelon, which can't be stockpiled, but all of those kinds of things are on sale. Amanda says, have we seen the Restock Kids mini fridges? No, I haven't. I don't know if I could handle watching a video like that. Oh, my goodness.
I think she said something like that, right? LOL,
she said, don't. Oh, my. Just Vicky says, chin up, Tara. We're all really in it together. Yeah. Thank you. I need some moral support at the moment. Joanne, 103 with 115 real fill. Southwest Oklahoma today. I think our son is happy he's not living in Oklahoma anymore.
Yeah.
Blinds closed, fans circulating the air. Yep. Jay No More says, I pay the bills after I go to the mailbox. Don't want to see him again until next month. Very good. Karen, she loves her old Living on a Dime coil book with the handwritten notes. Oh, that's funny. That's great. Brenda, I broke my hand. I prep my vegetables for work with one hand. It takes 3 times as long, but I do it for me. Chopped. Now, that is a situation where I would say, if you have the money, I would go ahead and buy pre-chopped vegetables because we don't want you to chop off another finger because you broke your hand. But good going. That is a situation where I will say you can buy pre-chopped vegetables. Just Vicky, love the garage sale video. Thank you. Another Vicky says, I'm also very minimalistic, but enjoy you guys' homes, especially during Christmas. I love the way you decorate. People have to make a big deal out of the dumbest things. I know. And you know what's even dumber is the Christmas garland I got for $1 each. I got 4 of them. I got $3.50 worth of free batteries that work and aren't expired for 5 more years in each one of those.
What? In the packaging?
Yeah, and they had lights on there and they all had brand new batteries in them and they all worked. So not only did I get a $40 garland, I got $3.50 worth of batteries also.
Wow.
I'm telling you. So it would have been worth it for me to buy the garland and just throw away the garland and take the batteries out if I would have had to. True Joy, tough love is a dish some folks can't consume. Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's interesting. All the discussions about paying bills here. Yeah. Kenneth says he pays extra on water and sanitation and electricity ahead of time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
One thing I will do is we don't keep rolling debt, but we don't really have to pay a credit card until it actually bills because we don't ever get to the interest point. But typically I'll pay the full balance even when it's not due yet, just because I happen to be doing, anytime I look at bills, if there's any balance on anything, I pay it. And I do have a spreadsheet that I have if there are really big bills that are going to happen, I put it on the spreadsheet so that if I pay it and it hasn't come out of the other account yet, I know it's still going to come out so I don't spend that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so the record is clean. In March, when we had our big emergency, that was tens and tens of thousands of dollars. We did put that on the credit card, but it was a special payment thing. It was like $100 fee
to have no interest for 6
months.
No
interest for 6 months. So we put it on that because we knew coming into summer is our slowest season. So we wanted to make sure we had cash for operating expenses for our business. And so we put it on that, but it only cost us $100, way cheaper than getting a loan or anything. We had our Mother's Day sale, and now we have a little bit left to pay, and we technically could pay it off right now.
We have the money.
But we are looking for another car for one of our sons. So we're kind of holding off till we buy that to see how much that is going to be before we do it. So.
Yeah, we have the money, but in order to operate our business, we don't think it's wise to draw the business down below a certain amount. So we did that way. But again, we're not paying interest on that. We did pay $100 fee, but to go for 6 months on it seemed like it was, in light of the fact that it was a gigantic unexpected expense that blew up our savings.
Yeah.
That was.
So I have no problem using credit cards that way. I really don't. It's just when you charge it every month and you don't pay it off. Paula and Water Bucket both love my cute little mailbox for flowers. Was that not the cutest thing for $1? When she said that was $1, I about fell over on the driveway. I was like, oh my goodness, that is so cute. Just Vicky says, one man's junk is another woman's treasure. I know. She loves my junk. Vicky loves my junk. And here's the thing, guys. Yeah, I got a lot of junk. And if I croak today, my family's going to be cussing my name. I get it.
Well, but not really.
But it's organized and I am using it. Now, like all of our studio stuff that I thought we were going to be making videos in here, I'm not using it now. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get rid of it. And actually, we have something going on this weekend, but next week I'm getting out here and I'm going to be clearing it out because I'm like, I don't need it anymore. So I'm not like holding on to it. I keep it until I don't think I need it anymore. And then I'm happy to let it go.
Well,
so.
and Tar doesn't keep piles of things all over the place that we have to step around and make paths through it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And right now our house is bigger than our other ones were. So sometimes there might be more stuff in there, but she keeps things organized very well. So we don't want anything to happen to you, but if it were to happen, we could just put price tags on all the shelves and have people come in. But there was a time where we had a smaller house and she was collecting windows that were taken out of other houses for some future project. And I was wondering for a little while, what are these windows going to do?
I use them.
But now she's painting with them and making shadow boxes and things like that. And it's amazing. And a lot of times, well, not on the windows, but on other things, if she gets to the point where it doesn't just live in the house forever. If she says, I'm done with this, she either sells it on upcycle for 5 times what she paid for it, or we give it to the thrift store, and then Brad jumps up and down and says, yay, this is amazing. Shout out to you, Brad.
That's funny. Okay, you can send me the last batch. And Kimmy from She's in Her Apron says her daughter needed a new bed frame and her son needed a new bed. My in-laws neighbors were moving and they were giving those exact things we needed away for free because they were moving. What a blessing. Oh, I know that happens all the time. Like our neighbors in Colorado were moving. We got a $1,500 recliner for free.
Yeah.
It was great. And then I went over to help her pack a couple of days, and I'm not kidding. I spent probably 8 hours helping her pack, and I probably got $1,000 worth of stuff, cleaning supplies, spices, food, meat that was in their freezer. I mean, I got
she was just like,
way more.
This is going away. Do you want it?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I'm like, sure. DK, it says, I got my first cookbooks for free for the computer and bought all 3 after I saved the money. Thank you. That is great. All right. Heidi says, I like your garage sale videos. Thank you very much. And DK says she has all 3 hard copies. 25% off right now, guys, in case I don't have power someday. Very good. Joyce, I'm looking forward to the solar light video to see how you use those little cups in the garden. I know, I finally got my garden caught up. Now we're going to be putting in a fence next weekend, so that's going to be a major, major big thing. But I got most of my garden planted so the rabbits and deer could eat it. Little turds. And the crows.
Yeah, crows. We're not sure about some crows moved in just shortly down the street, and they're kind of moving onto our property. And we're a little concerned because we have, what are the cute ones called?
The chickadees.
There have been lots of chickadees here, and we don't want the crows to be killing the chickadees. So, and when the first crow appeared, lots of little birds, chickadees and robins and doves were all chasing them away. But now the crows are moving in larger numbers. We're like, do we need to make the crows go away?
Kiss says, in that protective case, your recipe books did not get a scratch. He had 3 tornadoes, guys. But I probably got a new hernia when I excitedly lifted the tree off of that case they were in. Oh my goodness, I would have just sent you new books. It's not worth a hernia.
Wait, what happened?
So the tornado lopped a tree on top of his protective case that he had our cookbooks in. And he's like, I got a hernia lifting the tree off to save the books. But thank you.
Well, we're flattered.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So yes, I have this solar light project. So when we were somewhere, where did we go? Where there was a Dollar Tree that actually had, when we were in Estes Park, got a new Dollar Tree. And they actually had the solar lights in stock. Our Dollar Tree never has the solar lights in stock. They never have anything in stock. And so I got, do I tell them how many solar lights I got?
I forgot. I just remembered that we had a lot in the back of the 4Runner.
I got about 60 or 70 solar lights. But I have a plan for them. So I'm going to do this solar light video. So I got the solar lights and I've been collecting all the things that I'm going to do for them. You guys are going to die when you see what I do with them. And they're different videos that nobody has done too. Let's see. Oh, Sonia doesn't think I have junk either. Thank you. And Jado Moore says, I bet that washing machine, if restored, would last 50 years. Yeah, probably. They go for $200 and I got it for $10. I was so excited. And then all the guys that just happened to be walking up and loaded it in the pickup for us, that was even better. So Kimmy says she needs a viral apron. Not a viral apron. She needs a viral video right now. Oh, don't we all, Kimmy? Oh my goodness. Jim says he saw the video on the garage sales. You got a lot of great deals. The old washer for a planter and the artificial flowers were great. I know. I have always wanted an old washer for a planter. That's one thing I've always wanted. Yep. Kitsy says the last time I had a yard sale, groups of thieves came in and stole the stuff. Oh my goodness. I'd rather take it to the thrift store. Yeah, I don't think garage sales are really worth it. And honestly, some of the garage sales we go around here, they have like 2 tables with like 10 things on each table. And I'm like, why are you having a garage sale? This cannot possibly be worth your time. I mean, there's maybe $50 worth of stuff if they bought all of it, but wow, I don't know.
Barb Polly says the crow infestation reminds me of the school scene from The Birds. Hope it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad yet, but we're kind of keeping an eye on it because we did find online some.
Well, they ate all my zinnias.
Some things that are likely to make them go away without hurting them if we decide they're getting out of control. So.
Yeah.
We weren't sure if they were going to stick around or if they're just on their way to somewhere else and they stopped here to go camping.
I don't know. Decase it. None of your stuff was junk. Oh yeah, thank you. Wanda, it's your money and you're debt free. Do what you want. Yes. I mean, we have a little bit left on our house, but yes. I mean, but for me, it's more to do with videos than just collecting for junk, to be honest.
Yeah, Tara really doesn't store up a lot of junk. Partly she had family that used to store up things for no
family.
Particular future purpose. And so she's been really sensitive about not doing that. So really when we moved 6 people, we had 1 moving van. And then the next time when we moved, we had less than a moving van and we had book inventory in there as well. And then Jill had half a moving truck and we had half some business stuff in there and half business, not half, but half business stuff in Jill's and a little bit of business stuff in the other truck with our stuff. So we really had very little, but
we probably had a half to 3/4 of a truck that was our personal belongings and then 1 truckload worth of business stuff.
Right now,
we had a lot of business stuff we brought.
About 75% of all the, movable things, not real estate, about 75% of it is business stuff. Like a lot of book inventory, the show studio stuff, basically things that are related to the business. And the personal stuff is just a small segment of that.
Yeah.
So.
Sonia says, I've been watching y'all for a while now. You know what you're talking about. I think and do what all of you do all the time. People just need to think and not spend beyond their budget. Yep, that's what it amounts to.
Thank you.
Monica says she keeps trying to spell my name, but autocorrect keeps changing it. I know. It's funny. Michelle loves my junk videos. Thank you. Dave isn't at home anymore. I'm not going to say what he's doing, but he has sort of moved out. I'm not going to say what he's doing because we're public and the older kids don't like being recognized in public. But we'll just say that
it's a really cool job that he likes.
It's a really cool job that he likes. He hasn't completely moved out yet because it's a temporary summer job. But it's not here. So some of you may run into him in your travels, but anyway, Olympia, you get paid for having ads. Yes, we do. Let's see. Karen says the people that are critical are because they're jealous. Yeah, I know. I just get tired of listening to it. Fro's family, people not willing to use your advice will always criticize. I know. And I keep reminding myself, for the amount of work we have to do, we get paid well. And if we would streamline it a little bit better, we would be paid even better. But I just need to keep remembering that. Carol Ann, people are jealous. They say you're doing so well and fail to realize all your hard work and sacrifice for years. Yeah. Mark, I hope you block those nasty commenters. You help so many people ignore the negative comments. Thank you. Some of them I do leave on there. And I send them a link, an affiliate link to XLax. Telling them, thank you for watching. Maybe this will help next time you watch. Then I get paid if they buy something from Amazon within 24 hours.
Yes.
Sorry, I think I'm pretty brilliant, even if I do say so myself. I know you would beg to differ at times. Kimberly says, we had a tornado a few days ago, just a few roads from us, touchdown, major damage. They did not get hit. Oh, that's good. Yeah, we had a major road. You may have heard the Teton Road got totally washed away here in Wyoming. So now people have to go way around. It's really bad. Barbara says, love Jack's friend's comment about his garage sale, find his emotional support pickle. Yeah. Shay absolutely loved his emotional support pickle. It was
he
funny.
in the video?
Yeah. And the lady just walked up and said, here, would you like an emotional support pickle? You can just have it. Sophia, is your red book the same as the one you sold a few years back? Yes, it is. Just a different cover. Kimmy, have your floor fan be put right in front of the vent. Yep. Oh, yeah, I said that one. Do you guys ever consider buying a whole or half cow for a freezer? Yes, we have considered it, and the price is not cheaper than the grocery store. So the cheapest I have got it for when I do that, it was $7 a pound, and I can get it from the grocery store for $3 a pound. Let's see. Wanda has vents on the floor. Interesting. Wanda also says the bad thing about grocery delivery is I didn't get a senior discount, but so long since I've been to the store, I don't remember. Yeah, that would be worth the 10% though, to not have to go groceries. Kenneth says pay. Oh yeah, we talked about that one. Shake It Up says I really need some help on how to stockpile and severe penny pitching. Buy everything you can at garage sales and thrift stores and on sale. Try to buy nothing that's on sale for your lowest price. So like just this week, I got bandage. I got toothbrushes. I got medical tape. All of that. I got probably $50 worth of bandages and medical tape alone for $2.
I'm not sure what it was in response to it.
Little Crafty Nook says, you are indeed, I've met you in person. Oh, what
I was trying to remember which comment you said.
Oh, what did I say? I don't remember. Tell us what I said because I don't remember. So
but thank you though.
So yeah, so I say $50 right there just on bandages. Mike, you guys haven't seen this video yet, but yesterday I got him 2 pairs of jeans for 50 cents that are like brand new. Ooh. I got me a new really nice roll around suitcase. We're trying to upgrade our suitcase situation and I got it for $5. It's really cute. So Dee Dee says, since I turned 60, I'm now always asking about any available senior discounts. Yep. You got it. That's for sure. Okay, so let's see if Little Crafty. Oh, you're a big deal. Yes, I am a big deal. You get it? Yeah. A big deal with the emotional support pickle.
Yes. I did get it.
You should be laughing more. Laugh like you mean it. Oh. No, like you really mean it. Oh. Thank you. Just kidding. Wanda wants to know, why is it that you don't recommend debt consolidation bill? Because they are a ripoff.
You can do your own something like it without paying a debt consolidation company a bunch of money. So basically the best way to consolidate them is to take all your bills and pay the minimum on everything and pay the absolute most you can on the smallest one until it's gone. And then take all that money and put it on the next smallest one and keep doing that until it's all gone.
Yep.
But if you pay a debt consolidation company, you pay them a percentage, or if you refinance it into another loan and then you end up paying more interest on that. So Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you put it in your house.
Okay, so I'm going to address this, and this person isn't going to hear this because they're obviously back at the beginning of the video. But Peace Train says, as a Christian, I was raised to care for those in need. She's 86 and has leukemia for 20 years. This is genuine and real. It is shameful to criticize her. And then says, honor your father and mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Honoring does not mean enabling. Sorry, you are taking that Bible verse completely out of context. Completely out of context. Completely out of context. If you are continuing to give this woman money when she's spending $200 a month on a dog and who knows what else, you are enabling her. That is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. And so it is completely wrong to use that verse in this situation. And the daughter did say that she would help. It's the mother who said that she didn't want to ask for help. And that is totally a different situation. And she's honoring her mother by not enabling her to do these things. If your parent was 86 and gambling her money away, would you continue to give her money? No, that's not okay.
It's not honoring to do that.
It's not at all. Not at all. And so Just Vicky says being old does not mean wisdom has arrived. No kidding. But those are the consequences of your actions. So anyway, all right, guys, check out our cookbooks, Dining on a Dime cookbooks in the description below. Also, if you need a Bible, we give away Bibles for free if you cannot afford to buy one. If you do buy one, it is just our cost. We don't make a profit on the Bibles at all. We just sell them for what we pay for them and for the cost for shipping. Also, if you are giving or if you order a Bible, only order it for yourself and don't ship it to the whole neighborhood. We will not ship those.
Well, on the free ones.
On the free ones. If you're ordering it and you want to pay for it, that's fine.
But then hand them to the people yourself, because we've had to kind of crack down on some people are ordering them for random strangers just because they think that person needs Jesus. Well, maybe the Spirit hasn't yet called that person, so you need to not be.
You aren't Jesus.
If
so
we say
wait,
only request one free one for yourself, then to create 15 accounts and send free ones to all sorts of people that don't want them is stealing.
Yep.
So if you have a reason that you need more than one, you can email us and let us know.
Yep.
So
have a good night. Visit us livingonadime.com and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.